Welcome back, everyone. Today's deep dive is all about AnomalyGuard. It's a software that's trying to totally change how companies use data.
It's wild how much data companies have these days.
Right.
But as AnomalyGuard talks about it in their presentation, the problem isn't getting the data, it's figuring out what it means.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine you're just digging through all these spreadsheets trying to find something actually useful.
Oh, it's the worst. It's like they have this picture in their presentation of all this paper overflowing everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Like visually representing all that data.
Yeah, and it makes sense to anyone who's ever had to actually deal with it.
Totally.
So AnomalyGuard shows in their presentation 5 stages of how good a company is with their data.
Okay.
And they start with basic stuff and go all the way to really advanced stuff.
Uh-huh.
But the interesting thing is that even companies that are really good with data still have trouble figuring out what to actually do with it.
So let's talk about this idea of how mature a company is with data.
Sure.
What does that even mean?
So basically, think of it like a path. At the beginning, companies are just trying to get off paper,
Okay.
Moving all their records to computers.
Right.
And then as they get better, they start collecting data about their business, like how many people visit their website or how much stuff they sell.
Okay.
Then the next level is building systems to put all that data together.
So they're basically becoming more and more focused on data.
Exactly. And the goal is to get to a point where every decision they make is based on data.
I see.
But what AnomalyGuard is saying is that it's not just about the technology, it's also about having the tools and processes to actually use the data to do things.
And that's where AnomalyGuard says they come in, right?
Yeah.
Like bridging the gap between having all this data and actually getting results from it.
Exactly.
So in their little elevator pitch, they say AnomalyGuard is a system that, and I'm quoting here, automatically extracts, aggregates, and analyzes data to present insights in a simple, consumable, and actionable form. So basically, instead of having people spend all day analyzing data, AnomalyGuard does it automatically so that people can focus on the bigger picture.
Right.
So it's like this little data robot working in the background all the time, going through everything and flagging the important stuff.
Right. And they focus on what they call anomalies.
Okay.
Which are these unexpected changes in the data. So say you are looking at a graph of how many people visit your website.
Okay.
And all of a sudden there's this huge spike.
Right.
That would be an anomaly.
Gotcha. And so that could be good or bad.
All right.
Like maybe you had a really good marketing campaign, or maybe your server crashed.
Right. The point is to figure out what caused it.
Okay.
And that's what AnomalyGuard is trying to do. They use these fancy algorithms to not only find the anomalies, but also to give you more information about them.
Okay, so give me an example. Let's say I'm a sales manager, right? And I see that sales for one of my products just tanked. How would AnomalyGuard help me understand that?
Well, it wouldn't just show you the drop in sales. It would also try to connect that to other stuff that's happening.
Okay.
So maybe it would show you that there was a bad review of the product online, or that a competitor started selling something similar but cheaper.
Right.
It might even show you internal stuff about the product, like notes from the last sales meeting or complaints that customers had.
So it's putting together the whole story, right?
Yeah.
It's not just showing me random numbers, but it's actually giving me a complete picture of what's going on.
Exactly.
Which is really important for making good decisions.
Right. It's not enough to just know that something happened. You also need to know why it happened and what you can do about it.
Right.
And that's what AnomalyGuard is trying to help with, going from just seeing the data to actually taking action.
Yeah, that's really cool. But what happens if a company just ignores this stuff?
Okay, so their presentation has this really interesting visual for this. It shows a ladder of consequences. And it starts with missing out on opportunities, then losing market share, and finally, well, it doesn't end well.
Whoa, hold on. Are they saying companies could go bankrupt?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it might seem dramatic, but companies these days can't afford to just sit around and wait for things to go wrong.
Right.
They need to be able to analyze data and change quickly, or they won't survive.
So are they basically saying that AnomalyGuard is not just about being more efficient, but about actually helping companies survive?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
They're talking about moving from a reactive approach to data, where you only look at it when something breaks, to a proactive approach, where you're always looking for signs of things changing and making changes in real time.
So it's not just about fixing problems, it's about staying ahead of the game.
Exactly, that's what they're saying. The main takeaway is that being able to analyze data effectively isn't just a luxury anymore. It's something every company that wants to succeed needs to be doing.
Totally. So we've talked about why data analysis is so important, But how does AnomalyGuard actually work?
Well, they say it starts with data integration. Like, AnomalyGuard can basically connect to any system a company is already using. So their CRM, their marketing platform, their financial software, anything.
They have this diagram in the presentation that shows it really clearly.
Right.
It's like they've got the company's data on one side, then this data integration layer where AnomalyGuard comes in, and then the AnomalyGuard platform where all the analysis happens.
Exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they say it's supposed to be super easy to set up, like no huge IT projects or anything like that.
Gotcha. So once it's all connected, what happens next?
Then the fun begins. AnomalyGuard starts analyzing all the data, looking for these anomalies we were talking about.
Okay.
But then it goes even further and starts building something called time series from the data. It's basically looking at how the data changes over time to try to find trends and patterns that you might not even notice.
So it's not just finding those one-time weird things in the data, but actually understanding how the data is changing overall.
Exactly.
And that's what makes AnomalyGuard so powerful, right?
Right.
It doesn't just show you what's happening, but it actually helps you understand why it's happening and what you can do about it. I like it.
He's kind of like a data detective, you know?
Ah, I like that. So let's talk about what things look like before and after AnomalyGuard.
Okay.
Like, how does it actually change the way companies do things every day?
So before AnomalyGuard, you have these teams that are just drowning in reports.
Right.
They can't keep up with all the data that's coming in.
Yep.
And important insights might get lost in emails or spreadsheets.
Uh-huh.
Or people might miss them entirely because there's just too much information.
Right. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Exactly.
So what does it look like after AnomalyGuard?
Okay, so imagine you come into work and you check your AnomalyGuard dashboard. And instead of seeing this massive wall of numbers, you get this clear, concise view of what's happening in your business.
Okay.
And AnomalyGuard highlights the most important things.
Okay.
Like maybe sales are going crazy in a certain area, or there are suddenly a lot of complaints about a specific product.
So instead of reacting to problems after they happen, you're able to be proactive.
Exactly. And because AnomalyGuard tells you what's most urgent and important, you know exactly what to focus on.
I see.
So you're not wasting time trying to figure out what matters. AnomalyGuard does that for you.
So it sounds like AnomalyGuard is making the whole decision-making process much more efficient.
That's exactly what they're going for. They want to help companies make data-driven decisions faster and with more confidence.
Okay. So far, so good.
Yeah.
But I do have one question.
What's that?
I'm wondering about the people. We've talked a lot about all this automation stuff, but how does AnomalyGuard work with the actual people using it?
Right.
Like, does it just replace data analysts completely?
That's a good question, and they talk about that in the presentation. They're not trying to replace data analysts at all. They're trying to make them even better.
Okay.
So think of it like a tool that takes care of all the boring stuff in data analysis, like digging through mountains of data and finding the basic patterns.
Gotcha.
And that frees up the analysts to focus on the more interesting and strategic stuff.
So like giving data analysts a superpowered assistant to do all the grunt work so they can focus on thinking big.
Exactly. They say that AnomalyGuard helps data analysts go from just reporting what happened to actually understanding why it happened and what to do about it.
Okay.
It's about changing their role from like just number crunchers to actual advisors.
That makes sense. It's like the difference between a detective that just collects evidence and one that actually solves the whole case.
Yeah, I like that.
AnomalyGuard finds the clues, but the analyst is the one who figures out what it all means.
Right, and that's really important for getting the most out of the data. AnomalyGuard provides the raw insights, but human analysts bring their experience and intuition to the table to make sure those insights make sense for the business.
Okay, I get it. So we obviously can't go through every single thing AnomalyGuard does, but what are some of the highlights from their presentation that stood out to you?
So one really cool thing is that they have these customizable dashboards.
Okay.
So everyone can see exactly the information they need, whether they are an executive who needs high-level metrics or someone in a specific department who needs more detailed data.
So it's personalized.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it makes sure that AnomalyGuard isn't just a tool for a few people, but something that everyone in the company can use.
Okay.
Oh, and another cool feature is the real-time alerting system.
Okay.
So you can set it up to send notifications when specific things happen in the data. Like if website traffic suddenly spikes or if sales for a product tank, AnomalyGuard can immediately tell the right people so they can take care of it before it gets worse.
So it's like a 247 watchdog for your data.
Yeah, exactly.
Those home security systems that alert you if there's something suspicious going on.
Uh-huh. But instead of protecting your house, it's protecting your business.
Uh-huh. I like it. They also talked a lot about data security, right?
Right. That's super important these days with all the data breaches happening.
Totally.
And they say AnomalyGuard takes data privacy really seriously and uses all the latest encryption and security stuff to keep data safe.
Okay, good. But what about setting it all up?
Right.
Is it hard to integrate AnomalyGuard with all the systems a company already has?
They actually say that's one of their main selling points, how easy it is to implement.
Okay.
They even have this simple diagram in the presentation. It shows how AnomalyGuard connects seamlessly with all the different data sources a company might have, like their main systems or data warehouses or other software they use.
Okay.
They say it's basically plug and play and doesn't require a bunch of IT people or take forever to set up.
So they've really made it easy for companies to start using AnomalyGuard.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's smart because companies might be hesitant to try something new if it's going to be a big hassle.
And they also offer different options for how companies can give AnomalyGuard access to their data.
Oh, like what?
So companies can choose to give them just summarized data, or they can give them full access depending on what they're comfortable with and what their own internal policies are.
So they're flexible.
Yeah.
That's good. It's like they've thought about all the things companies might worry about and tried to address them up front.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what about support?
Right.
Like, if a company has a problem or needs help figuring out how to use something, what do they do?
So they don't really go into a ton of detail about their support system in the presentation, but they do give contact information and encourage people to reach out on LinkedIn or go to their website for more information.
Okay, so they're open to more conversations and engagement,
Right.
which makes sense since a presentation like this is just the first step.
Uh-huh.
They want to get people interested and then have more detailed conversations with the companies that want to learn more.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the problem they're trying to solve, their solution,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the key features and benefits.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up, I want to zoom out a bit.
Okay.
What are your overall impressions of AnomalyGuard? Like, what are the main takeaways that our listeners should remember?
I think the biggest takeaway is that in a world where we have more and more data every day, being able to actually use that data to make decisions isn't just a nice thing to have anymore.
Right.
It's absolutely essential. And AnomalyGuard gives companies the tools they need to not just survive, but to actually succeed in this data-driven world.
It's about going from being overwhelmed by data to actually using it to your advantage.
Exactly.
AnomalyGuard helps you cut through all the noise and focus on the things that really matter.
Right.
And that lets you make better decisions faster and with more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really interesting is that it's not just about fixing problems.
Yeah.
It's also about finding hidden opportunities.
Right.
Like those weird things in your data could be pointing to new markets or untapped customer groups or even whole new business models you've never thought of before.
Exactly.
It's like AnomalyGuard gives you X-ray vision for your data so you can see all the hidden possibilities.
Oh, like that.
So why should our listener care about AnomalyGuard?
Well, imagine you're running a business and you're collecting all this data,
Okay.
but you just can't make sense of it all.
Yep. I've been there.
You know, there are insights in there somewhere, but you don't have the time or the people to find them.
Right.
And you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe even a little stuck.
Wow.
That's where AnomalyGuard comes in.
It's like finally cleaning out that messy closet.
Yeah.
You can finally see what you have and start using it.
Exactly. It's like spring cleaning for your data. AnomalyGuard helps you get rid of all the clutter and organize it in a way that makes sense. It shows you the things that are really important so you can focus on making good decisions for your business.
So it's not just about the data itself. It's about being clear, focused, and ultimately getting better results.
Exactly. And in a world where things are changing so fast, that kind of advantage is really important.
Absolutely. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today. But before we go, I want to leave them with one last question. What hidden opportunities might you be missing in your own data?
It's a great question to think about. Maybe there are new markets you haven't even considered, or ways to make your business more efficient, or even customer needs that you're not meeting. The answers are all there in your data, just waiting to be discovered.
And AnomalyGuard can help you find them. If you want to learn more about AnomalyGuard, you can find their website and LinkedIn information in the show notes. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AnomalyGuard.
And until next time, keep exploring. And remember, the power of data isn't just in collecting it, it's in really understanding what it's telling you.